There we go. Can you please take your seats? I want to start with a little announcements. My name is Lisa Barbarick. I'm the security coordinator. Nobody knows me. You've all seen me today. Just a little security brief. Please ensure that you have your badges on. If not, go to the desk and get a new one. We all kind of want to see your badges. Thank you for that. In case of emergency, please go to the nearest usher or greeter, and they'll provide you with a clear path of what to do and where to go. Our community is very clear about our protocol, and we want to keep everybody safe. So please listen and follow along as best you can. And at this time, can everyone please silence their phones? If you have trouble doing that, if you need help, please raise your hand and somebody will come by and help you. Does anybody need help? Because we'll be glad to do that. All right, well, thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom.
Before we start, one more announcement. This is a long service, and this is a long day. And it includes a lot of standing. We are aware that some of you fast, and some of you cannot stand for a long time, and that's okay. So if at any moment of the service you feel that you need to take some rest and sit down, please don't be ashamed, just do it. It's important for us that you are healthy and well, as healthy and well as we can be on Yom Kippur. Please turn to page 9 as we light the Shabbat and Yom Tov candles to welcome this day of atonement. Our ancestors were not sure if they're worthy to pray, and yet they asked God for the permission to pray, permission to return with the words of B'yeshiva shel Mala u'B'yeshiva shel Mata, the prayer that promises us that doesn't matter who you are, if you're high or you're low, we all can come and pray on this day. Please turn to page 16.
V'yeshiva shel Mala u'V'yeshiva shel Mata al dat hamakom ve'al dat hakahal anu matirim להתפלל עם העבריינים.
We now turn to the highlight for many of the high holiday season to call Nidre on page 18.
V'telin uvutalin. Nidre
וחרמה וקונמה וכינויה וכינוסי ושבועות תהיל דרנה וריש תבנה ודיה חרימנה ודה אסרנה נפשה תנה מיום כיפורים זה עד יום הכיפורים הבא עלינו כולהון יהון שרן שוויקין שוויתין בטלים ומבוטלים לשרירים ולקיימים נדרנה לנדרה ואסרנה לאסרי ושבועתנה לשבועות
Please turn to page 20.
ונסלח לכל הדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל הדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה ונסלח לכל הדת בני ישראל ולגר הגר בתוכם כי לכל העם בשגגה גדל חסדך, וכאשר נסעת לעם הזה, ממצרים ועד הנה, ושם נאמר.
Please rise as we return the scrolls to the ark. Thank you, past presidents, for holding these scrolls just like you held this community in your care. You passed it down to us, and we're so grateful for your hard work and commitment. Please keep standing as we turn to Baruch Hu on page 22. Please be seated. On page 24, blessed are you, O Eternal One. Your great name fills the universe with majestic might. Your word creates twilight and dusk as your wisdom opens the gates of night. Your discernment separates the changing seasons and causes the passage of time. The stars arrayed across the sky reveal your design. You roll out the cycle of darkness and light, shaping day and night. You sweep away dark day and carry the world into nightfall, setting day apart from nighttime. You are God of all who can perceive and all that is beyond our perception.
ומעביר יום, מביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני. אמרי ורבים.
Please turn to page 26 to Ahavat Olam, to the promise of God's eternal love.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותם לימדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, ושומרנו וקומנו, נשיח ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. יהינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו, ובהם נגן יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Please turn to the Shema on page 28 and 29.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
On page 39, our sages taught it is proper to mention the exodus from Egypt in our morning prayers and also at night. We celebrate the going out from Egypt in the morning light, full of confidence and vigor as we enter the new day. But in the evening, weary from the day's exertions, cast down and fearful at the coming of the night, what can the exodus teach us then? Our nighttime prayer brings hope and trust in the future, as God did not abandon our people long ago through the long, dark night of exile. So the Holy One will be with us in time to come, to stand by the one you love. This is the true essence of faithfulness, the meaning of emunah, faith. So it is written in the Psalms, to proclaim your kindness in the morning and your faithfulness in the nights. Sing with the joy in the mornings of your life, when light surrounds you and the world seems beautiful and good. And in the evenings of your life, when you dwell in sorrow and the world seems dark, do not despair. We remember the Exodus from Egypt with the words of Michamocha on page 40.
Baruch atah Adonai. Ga'al Yisrael.
we face difficult times in our life, it is easy to stay up late worrying about what is to come. Our tradition recognized this tendency in us, in human beings, in the 8th century and came up with the prayer for a sound sleep in a sense of peace. This prayer is Hashkiveinu on page 42.
Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Ushmor tzeitzenu uvoenu Chaim u'shalom ve'atzah ve'adolam. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkiveinu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Uferos aleinu sukat shalom mecha, Baruch atah Adonai. Haporei sukat shalom aleinu el kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
It's Yom Kippur, but it's also Shabbat, a day that gives us an opportunity to rest. We celebrate Shabbat and the fact that Yom Kippur happens once a year and Shabbat every 7 days with the words of the Shamru on page 44.
Ve'shamru bnei Yisrael et haShabbat la'asot et haShabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ve'shamru bnei Yisrael et haShabbat la'asot et haShabbat ledorotam berit olam. השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
From the praise of Shabbat, we move back to Yom Kippur, to the power of this day. We move to Kivayom Chazeh on page 45.
כי ביום הזה יכפר עליכם, לטהר אתכם מכל עדותיכם, לפני אדוני תטהרו. יתגדל ויתקדש שמרבה, וילמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגליו זמן קריב ומרו. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי דקודשה לעילה ולעילה, מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בימה וימרו.
Please rise as we turn to the Amidah on page 46.
Adonai sfatai tiftach, Adonai sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha, ufi yagid הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
Please continue silently on page 50. Now ask to be inscribed and sealed into the book of life with the words of Besefer Chaim on page 78.
בספר חיים ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה ניזכר וניכתב לפניך
Each of us has just directed a different prayer, a different meditation to God. And yet there's one element that all these prayers, meditations have in common. The prayer, the desire for peace. Peace in our hearts, peace in our minds, peace in our families, peace in our community, peace in our country, peace in the Middle East, peace all across the globe. Let's pray for peace with the words of Shabbat Shalom on page 81. We cannot be truly at peace when all the things that we did wrong weigh us down. This is why on Yom Kippur we add to the service vidui, or a confession that allows us to acknowledge that we are not perfect. Please turn to page 82.
Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu tavo lefanecha tefillatenu Titalam mitchinatenu she'en anachnu asefanim ukashei oref Lamar lefanecha Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imoteinu tzadikim anachnu Ava, Ava, Avachnu Chatanu, Chatanu, Avinu,
Our God and God of all generations, may our prayers reach your presence. And when we turn to you, do not be indifferent. O Eternal One, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. Please rise together as we say Ashamnu Bagadnu, an alphabetical list of all our transgressions.
Ashamnu, Bagadnu, Gazalnu, Dibarnu Dolfi, Yaelai, lai, 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 yalalai, lai, 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 He'evinu, Vehirshanu, Zadnu, Chamasnu, Tafalnu Shaker, Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 Ya'atznu Ra, Kizavnu, Latznu, Maradnu, Ni'atznu, Sararnu, Avinu, Pashanu, Sararnu, Kishinu Oref, Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 Rashanu, Shichatznu, Tiavnu, Ta'inu, Titanu.
On page 84, you know the secrets of the universe and the secrets of the human heart. You know and understand us, for you examine our inner lives. Nothing is concealed from you, nothing hidden from your sight. Eternal One, our God and God of our ancestors, we pray that this be your will. Forgive all our wrongs. Pardon us for every act of injustice. Help us atone for all our moral failures. Now turn to the Vidui Rabbah, the great Vidui, the expanded version of the list of our transgressions on page 86.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בזדון ובשגגה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בדיבור פה.
The ways we have wronged you deliberately and by mistake, and the harm we have caused in your world through the words of our mouths.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, באימוץ הלב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בטיפשות פה.
The ways we have wronged you by hardening our hearts, and the harm we have caused in your world through careless speech.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בכחש ובכזב, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, ברכילות.
The ways we have wronged you through lies and deceit, and the harm we have caused in your world through gossip and rumor.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בפלילות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בזלזול הורים ומורים.
The ways we have wronged you by judging others unfairly, and the harm we have caused in your world through disrespect to parents and teachers.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בווידוי פה, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בהונאת רעה.
The ways we have wronged you through insincere apologies, and the harm we have caused in your world by mistreating a friend or neighbor.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בחוזק יד, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, במשא ובמתן.
The ways we have wronged you through violence and abuse, and the harm we have caused in your world through dishonesty in business.
ועל כולם אלך סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלך סליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בגלוי ובסתר, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בפריקת עול.
The ways we have wronged you openly and secretly, and the harm we have caused in your world by losing self-control.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בגילוי הרעות, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, במחל ובמשפטה. ומשתה.
The ways we have wronged you through sexual immorality, and the harm we have caused in your world through consumption of food and drink.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, ביצר הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בנשך ובמרבית.
The ways we have wronged you by giving in to our hostile impulses, and the harm we have caused in your world through greed and exploitation.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בלעת צאן, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בנטיית גרון.
The ways we have wronged you through cynicism and scorn, and the harm we have caused in your world through arrogant behavior.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בשנאת הינם, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בטומאת בשפתיים.
The ways we have wronged you by hating without cause, and harm we have caused in your world through offensive speech.
על חטא שחטאנו לפניך, בלשון הרע, ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בצרות עין.
The ways we have wronged you with a slanderous tongue, and a harm we have caused in your world through a selfish or petty spirit.
ועל כולם אלוה הסליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו. ועל כולם אלוה הסליחות, סלח לנו מחלנו, סלח לנו מחלנו, כפר לנו.
Please sit as we come to a moment of our personal vidui, our personal reflection. Hoping that our apologies, our pleas for forgiveness reach God wherever God is and however we understand God. We turn to Slichot, to our songs of forgiveness on page 96.
I'm so pleased to call up again Marcy Vaj. No worries.
hoping that our prayers not only go up, which is what Ya'aleh means, but they are also heard. We turn to Shema Koleinu, to the prayer which asks God to hear to our prayers, to listen to our voices. Page 98.
Shema Koleinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chus v'rachem aleinu, Chus v'rachem aleinu. V'kabel berachamim uveratzon et tefillatenu, et tefillatenu, hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Yameinu, Chadesh Yameinu,
On page 100. I'm sorry, on page 98.
תשליכנו מלפניך, ורוח קודשך אל תיקח ממנו. אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, אל תשליכנו לעת זקנה, ככלות כוחנו, ככלות כוחנו, אל תעזבנו, אל תעזבנו.
Now on page 100. God of forgiveness, we come before you in need of compassion. At Sinai, you spoke words that guide our lives to this day, but our ancestors lost faith in you, lost hope in their Redeemer. With one voice they had promised, will do and obey, and yet, stiff-necked, they broke their word, adoring an idol of gold. How wondrous your compassion in the face of the rebellion, your forgiveness in that moment of human weakness and doubt. We too have broken promises to you. We too worship the work of our own hands. We too make of gold a god. And we too forsake your word. At Sinai, you revealed 13 attributes of mercy, these aspects of your nature. your very essence, we now recall. Please rise as we turn to the attributes of mercy. We ask God for forgiveness with the words at the bottom of page 100.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha, v'Chata'a v'Nakeh.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha, v'Chata'a v'Nakeh.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Notzer Chesed la'alafim, Nosei Avon v'Fesha, v'Chata'a v'Nakeh.
Please turn to page 101. Moses prayed to God, and as you have been faithful to these people ever since Egypt, please forgive their failings now in keeping with your boundless love. And God responded, I forgive as you have asked. Vayomer Adonai, salachti kidvarecha. This year, more than ever, we need the sense that we are God's children, God's people. We express this sentiment as we turn to Ki Anu Amecha, to the prayer that starts from the words, "We are your people." Page 106.
כי אנו עמך ואתה אלוהינו, אנו עמך ואתה אבינו, אנו עבדיך ואתה אדוננו, אנו קהלך ואתה חלקנו, אנו נחלתך ואתה גורלנו, אנו צאנך ואתה רוענו, אנו כרמך ואתה נוטרנו, אנו פעולתך ואתה יוצרנו, אנו רעייתך ואתה דודנו, אנו סגולתך ואתה קרובנו, אנו עמך ואתה מלכנו, אנו מאמירך ואתה מאמירנו.
If we are God's people, then God is our sovereign monarch, king, however we want to call it. But God has a different aspect too, that of a heavenly parent. We combine both these aspects of divine nature, one could call it the strict and the caring, loving one, as we turn to Avinu Malkeinu on page 114.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha, Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, V'yalol aleinu, V'tapeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Dever, V'cherev v'ra'av, Me'aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kale Kotzar, Umastin, Me'aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu, B'sefer Chaim Tovim, Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Chadesh Aleinu, Shana Tova, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu,
Please be seated. And I encourage you to join Cantor Shannon as she leads us in the singing of the song that almost everyone in the Jewish world knows, Kol ha'olam kulo, Gesher Tsar Me'od.
כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד, כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, גשר צר מאוד. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד, לא לפחד כלל. והעיקר, והעיקר, לא לפחד כלל.
כל העולם כולו גשר צר מאוד, והעיקר לא לפחד כלל. Or, in English, the whole entire world is a very narrow bridge, and the main thing is to have no fear at all. These words, attributed to the Hasidic Rabbi Nachman of Breslau, were adapted by Rabbi Baruch Haidt into a song Cantor Shannon and you all just sang. It talks about a bridge, and I adore bridges. This is because I grew up in a city where there were more than 150 of them. It's called one of the many Venices of the North. We are not talking flyover bridges here. These were actual bridges over 5 rivers flowing through my native Wrocław, Poland. Here are some of them. This bridge I went through to school on a bus every day in middle school and high school. Next slide. This bridge I crossed visiting my grandparents, both my grandma and my grandparents on my dad's side. Next slide. This bridge I crossed to school, on the way to school, to middle school, when I had more time and I could take a detour through the Gothic part of the city. Next slide. And in this garden, before it got beautifully renovated, in this Japanese garden, I played as a kid. However, none of these bridges has influenced my life more than this bridge not far away from my parents' house. Next slide. No, next one. As you see, it is a Gesher Tsar Me'od, a very narrow bridge. It also has a very nice beach bar just next to it, if you look to the right. Next slide. The river view from that bridge is pretty too. But this is not why this bridge has left a mark on my life. See, during the darkest period of my life, I once stood on this bridge wondering if jumping off it would not be easier than how I felt right then. In tomorrow's Torah reading, God says to the Israelites, I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your offspring shall live. Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. I wish I could say that, standing on that bridge, I chose life because I remembered Deuteronomy 30, verse 19. But frankly, I didn't. However, looking back at this fateful day, I understand that Deuteronomy 30, verse 19, explains why I chose life. No matter how despondent I felt, I somewhat sensed that there were blessings in my life. Even though the world seemed dark, I could still hope that one day blessings in my life would outweigh the curses. 4 blessings got me off that narrow bridge in Wrocław, Poland. The first blessing was the knowledge that my family loved and loves me very much. The thought of bringing them immense suffering was simply unthinkable. I held on to hope that their love would help me through this very rough patch, this Gesher Tsar Me'od, a very narrow bridge. The second blessing was a vague sense that I am smart enough to find a new path, even though I didn't see a solution to my problems at that moment. As I say, it was a vague sense. The third blessing was the appreciation I have for beauty. I realized standing there on the bridge that there are many more sunsets over the mountains to admire before time on earth is over. I didn't want to miss out on them. The fourth blessing was my curiosity about the world. It dawned on me that if that was it for me, I would never see the upcoming season of my favorite TV series. I would never get a chance to visit Machu Picchu or the pyramids. I guess you know where I'm going to go for my sabbatical many years from now. I am not sharing this difficult memory with you to look for sympathy. I am doing it because I know, as your rabbi, that many of you have gone through very narrow bridges in your lives. Crossing them, you might have had moments when it seemed like making it to the other side was an impossible struggle. Yet here we are, alive today. We made it to another Yom Kippur, the day of reflecting on where we stand in life. We are on a bridge that appears only on Yom Kippur. It is a bridge from routine to reflection, from the ephemeral to the eternal, from illusion to insight, from self-aggrandizement to self-awareness. Mere standing on this bridge, on this Yom Kippur bridge, is difficult. Daily distractions, disingenuity with ourselves, disenchantment with Judaism, despair about opportunities lost, they all drag us down off the Yom Kippur bridge, back to the stream of day-to-day life. In order to successfully cross to the other side of this Yom Kippur bridge, we have to engage in some soul searching. We need to identify blessings in our lives that enabled us to cross our personal narrow bridges, our Ksharim Tsarim Me'od, very narrow bridges. We need to ask ourselves some challenging questions. What, who gives us hope when life gets tough? What, who comforts us when things turn from tough to rough? Where do we find consolation when everything we can do is not enough? When our worst fears come true? Who do we live for? If we are honest with ourselves, the answers to these questions will come to us soon. Some of these responses will fill us with pride. These responses are our blessings. But you might find some of your replies to yourself to these questions surprising. That's good. They make Yom Kippur a journey of discovery. You might also find some responses in this soul-searching process embarrassing or upsetting. That's fine as well. You are on this bridge, in the process of bridging the gap between who you are and who you would like to be. What beliefs about the world, what blessings in your lives got through the narrow bridges of your past? Each of us has a question. Many of these blessings that got us through, many of these sources of strength depended and depend largely on us. Our perseverance, our courage, our work ethic, our eagerness to learn new things, etc. All these qualities prove useful not just in times of distress and trouble, not only when we stand on a very narrow bridge. If we cultivate them on a regular basis, we will respond to Torah's call, we'll choose life, and enhance this life with blessings. However, our survival in difficult situations often depends on things we have no say in. Our genetic makeup, our family background, and the support our family gave us in childhood are parts of our life that are out of our control. I was able to leave my narrow bridge moment behind largely due to my fortunate family background. My parents always encouraged me to believe in myself. They taught me to see the world as beautiful and interesting. They offered me their support, both emotional and financial, even after I became an adult. Choose life so that you and your offspring shall live. My parents chose to instill in me life, or rather, life-affirming qualities. Sure, they weren't with me on the bridge, on this narrow bridge, that fateful day, but their lessons, their resources, their values were. On the bridge of life, we are never alone. We are accompanied by voices of those who shaped us. Some are constructive, others destructive. Of course, these voices don't define who will ultimately become. The biggest challenge of adulthood is to develop our inner voice, our own compass, which will hopefully tell us to choose life on days when it's easy and on days when it's extremely difficult, on bridges that are huge and on very narrow bridges. The task of fostering a supportive inner voice is easier if we have been taught to make healthy choices. It is much harder if we have to constantly overcome pernicious patterns we learned while growing up, if we have the voices in our head that tell us we'll never find the right solution, or voices that put forward solutions that will destroy us. Yes, we can develop a new, more encouraging inner voice over time. Having said that, there are moments when, overwhelmed and frightened, we wobble on a very narrow bridge, trying not to fall. On that very narrow bridge, we need people who will restore our balance and tell us what the next safe step is. We all know someone who is tottering on a very narrow bridge of poor mental health, of failing physical health, of homelessness or near homelessness, of addiction, of poverty, of domestic violence, of psychological abuse, of discrimination. This person often stands and wobbles on many of these bridges, or rather stands on one bridge and wobbles because of all these reasons. When we see such a person, our first impulse might be to stay away. We might tell ourselves that everyone is an architect of our own future. We might be afraid that trying to steady others, we will lose balance on the bridge of our life. Yom Kippur reminds us that certainty is an illusion, that sturdy bridges we build for ourselves can turn narrow in an instant. Yom Kippur teaches us that the only way to cross the narrow bridge of existence is by helping others and accepting their assistance. We choose life when our choices enhance the well-being of others, when we become their blessings, not their curses. Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, author of Kol Ha'olam Kulo, knew a lot about walking a very narrow bridge. His short life, he died aged only 34, was plagued by a debilitating mental illness, most likely bipolar disorder. This is why in Likutei Mohoran, a collection of his teachings, Rabbi Nachman wrote, "Veda shechadam tzarich la'avor al gesher tsar me'od me'od, v'cha'klal v'cha'ikar, shelo yitpached klal." Know that each person needs to cross a very, very narrow bridge, and what is absolutely essential in not to be overcome by fear. You must have noticed that the song the song Cantor Shannon sang so beautifully, says something else, has slightly different lyrics. The version we're familiar with tells us not to have fear at all. This is not what Rabbi Nachman originally meant. Having suffered most of his life himself, he wanted us to know that it is normal to suffer, struggle, and wobble on the bridge of our life. Importantly, the second part of his teaching can be translated in two different ways, either as what is absolutely essential is not to be overcome by fear, or what is absolutely essential is that the entire community is not overcome by fear. This ambiguity of Rabbi Nachman's original words is not incidental. Rabbi Nachman teaches us that each of us will find ourselves on a narrow bridge, and that many of us will totter on it. He asks us to support others when they are about to fall. In his view, it is the only way we can walk through the bridge, which is very, very me'od me'od narrow indeed. It is not easy to acknowledge that life is sometimes so tough that it pushes us to the brink. Perhaps this is why the words of Kol Ha'olam Kulo were changed by Rabbi Haidt, who adapted it to music. They were changed to reflect an easier, more upbeat message. Just don't have fear and it's going to be fine. Rabbi Nachman didn't mean it. The bridges of our life feel narrower than have been in a long time. This behooves us to reclaim the original teaching of Rabbi Nachman. As Jews, as Jewish social media users, as Jewish Americans, as human beings, we need to walk the bridge of life together. To choose life means not to let anyone, no matter how different they are from us, fall. Let me conclude with a prayer. El Maleh Rachamim, God full of compassion, this Yom Kippur, help us choose a life that is a model for the lives of our children, a life so that they could choose life. This Yom Kippur, help us choose compassion and charity over comfort and complacency. This Yom Kippur, help us save the lives of those tottering on their narrow bridges. This Yom Kippur, O God, help us choose a life of bringing others blessings rather than curses. This Yom Kippur, bring us all down from the narrow bridge and seal us safely into the book of life. Gemar Hatima Tova. Now, a few words from our presidents.
Check. We good? All right. I'm a little bit taller. We brought our speechwriter with us. She's going to help us get through this. It will. We're going to use both of them. Okay. Good Yontif. So, of course, we consulted some of the past presidents and even Googled temple presidents' high holiday speech opening jokes, and were offered a treasure trove of humor. But tonight, on the holiest of days, we decided no shtick, just love and hope for each other, the Jewish people, the Dodgers, and of course, Temple Beth Tikvah.
First, we want to make sure that you know who we are, so maybe you can have hope in us as well. John comes from a loving family who instilled in him strong Jewish pride and traditions. He grew up down the hill at Temple Beth Emet of Anaheim as a third-generation TBE member, just as our children are third-generation Temple Beth Tikvah members. I, on the other hand, grew up right here. I am what Temple Beth Tikvah proudly coins a basement to a bima kid. I went to our early childhood learning center, had a bat mitzvah, was confirmed and guest rabbied on this very bima. When I moved back to Orange County, John and I joined TBT as a couple after our wedding in 2012. My experience was different than John's. He was a very busy, popular kid. Most of my extracurricular activities involved the Orange County Jewish community and this temple. I worked here, I basically lived here, pretty much like right now.
But there was no doubt after just a few visits here that this, TBT, was Melissa's home and would become mine very quickly. We also had no doubt that someday our children would go to the ECLC as well. Not for the fact that Melissa went there, because let's face it, that was quite a while ago. But our confidence came from all the other outstanding young Jewish kids that we saw coming out of the ECLC and the staff that loved and cared for them. And it worked. Our children will be turning 8 and 10 during our first term as president, and they run around here like it's their home.
They also yell and leave their sweatshirts and water bottles around like it's their home too.
We hear them refer to other kids here as best friends and brothers and sisters, and they are building a strong Jewish identity here at TBT.
See, Temple Beth Tikvah has a magical power, the foundation of which was laid 60 years ago by our founding families and our first settled rabbi in Rebbitzin. And each subsequent year, despite all challenges, the power of TBT has continued. That power is to create family. This is a home, and we are all family.
In the last year, there were a lot of changes and a lot of things going on in the world. We gained a wonderful settled rabbi in Rabbi Mati. Miriam Van Ralt, who has worn so many hats around here for so long, decided she needed one more and became an assistant rabbi, all while keeping our caring community committee going, which helps our members in need. We gained a new executive director, Lauren Snyder, who also grew up here at TBT, and much like Melissa, came back home to grow her family. Lauren took that task of growing TBT's membership quite seriously by bringing her parents, husband Zach, and just a few months ago, their newborn twin girls, Dahlia and Aurelia, who never fail to get all the attention in the room. Also, since last High Holy Days, we had another successful fireworks stand and one of the grooviest and well-attended Purim celebrations in TBT history. We formed a new committee to update our bylaws, to modernize our governance and processes, and we completed beautification projects outside the sanctuary.
But we still face some challenges. For example, synagogue membership nationwide has been going down for years. We are all working to grow affiliation, and cash flow is a constant challenge. TBT prides itself on our pay what you can membership philosophy. We believe that your love and hope for the future of TBT motivates you to pay what you can when you can. We hope that your hearts lead you to push yourself a bit and increase the what you can part just a little. Also, our beloved ECLC, which has been here and evolved over 54 years, has struggled in recent years, contending with COVID and the introduction of pre-K and TK-free programs at public schools. But there's hope. There's that word again. The fiscal year, this fiscal year, we lost 4 members, and since June, we have gained 11 new member families and have a few pending as well.
Our co-membership vice presidents, along with our executive director, created more comprehensive membership forms to find out people's interests and are creating more events connecting us to the greater community. We have an ECLC task force led by our education VPs that meets almost weekly to identify needs, create goals, and execute what is needed to see our ECLC thrive. Enrollment has increased over the last couple of months, and we were featured on the front cover of OC Parenting magazine. This committee of hardworking, passionate experts in education, organization, marketing, and finance gives us hope.
As you can see, running this place is a lot of work. We are thankful for your trust in us to work as a team to make sure TBT gets the best of both of us and the best of our strengths. We are grateful to our family and friends for helping and being patient with us as we find our balance. Also, we are incredibly thankful for our outstanding board of directors who share in our vision and our work ethic. So here are some thoughts on that vision. TBT has been here for 60 years. It hasn't always been easy, but we are like the little engine that could, and we aren't going anywhere. One of our main goals as presidents is to help that engine not have to work so hard. We are a small synagogue that does a lot, and to do a lot, we could really use a large staff. But because we have a smaller membership and less cash flow than a synagogue with, say, 600 families, we must keep operation costs down. Therefore, we rely on our lay leaders who turn over every few years to keep things running. It's easy for a ball to drop, but while we are great at grabbing that ball and getting it back in the air, that can be exhausting on an organization. Today, with strong clergy and senior staff, it is the perfect time for our lay leadership to identify needs, put systems and protocols in place, and work on strategic planning so we set the staff and future boards of directors up for success, and TBT can thrive more than ever.
So as Melissa mentioned, TBT does a lot, And as usual, she's right. Our executive director has met with the staff and board of directors to calendar out the year, and it's full. We recognize that everyone is looking for something different in a synagogue, something that makes it feel like home. We have people that come for ping pong, mahjong, canasta, and bridge. We have a thriving lay-led Torah study, and we are the only Reformed synagogue in Orange County that has regular Saturday morning services. Through a grant to enhance Shabbats here at TBT, we have had wonderful themed and holiday-focused Shabbats with world-renowned guest speakers. With the guidance of Cantor Judy Sofer, a TBT alum, our adult Kol Tikvah choir has been rejuvenated. The transition to the guidance of Cantor Shannon Bain and conductor Aaron Hunt has been seamless for these high holidays. Bravo to the team, and thank you to the musicians and the AV team for getting us out there. Our religious practices and education committees are working on bringing back our junior choir, and we have revamped our religious school program. And let me tell you, I kind of wish I was a kid again. Also, we have our Gesher after-school program and summer camp. This program helps parents so much, including us, and gets us known in the community. One need we have is for a 15-passenger van to make after-school pickups and summer field trips safer and more efficient for our children and staff. So please consider a gift to help out the Gesher program.
We also want to remind you that there are other ways to give back. We always need help on committees, volunteering at events, volunteering to help with the students, and help answering phones during business hours. Also, let us utilize your special talents. Do you love graphic design, accounting, maintenance, gardening, managing a kitchen? Any lawyers out there? These are all fields that are often needed here, and as well as others, and we're always looking to utilize volunteers to help keep operating costs down. If you want to give back in this way, please reach out to the office or to us for more information.
So as we get close to the end of our speech, and we're getting close to the end of the speech, much like the end of every prayer service, we think of those we've lost. It would be impossible not to acknowledge this week's first anniversary of October 7th and all the loss sustained over the last year. Also, TBT's own losses of those that were woven so tightly into the fabric of our community, our home, our family. May their memories be a blessing, and to whom those losses hit the closest, TBT is here for you. Melissa and I continue to be strengthened by how this community comes together to pray and to support one another. Our freedom and safety to be loud, proud Jews, whether in Israel or right here in Fullerton, is a top priority. So we thank you for being with us in person and virtually to show that strength and unity.
And now, the uplifting ending. One piece of hopeful news is regarding our TBT Legacy Circle program. This is our 6th year as TBT partnering with the Orange County Jewish Foundation's Create a Jewish Legacy program to promote legacy giving to TBT. The nationwide program called Life and Legacy was created to help sustain synagogues long into the future. Members of the Legacy Circle program have committed to including TBT in their wills or trusts. We are proud to say that TBT has one of the highest percentages of legacy intent forms per number of congregants in all of Orange County.
However, the Goldmans are pretty competitive. We don't want TBT to be one of the highest. We want to be the highest. So, to help this along, we, before the Yontif Rabbi, signed our letter of intent and are joining TBT's Legacy Circle. The letter of intent costs you nothing and is a great way to show your commitment to the long-term future of TBT. But wait, there's one more thing. We saved the best for last. In August, we celebrated our 60th anniversary gala honoring our beloved Rebbitzin Emeritus, Elaine Assa. This event not only brought over 200 people into this room filled with love, nostalgia, and hope, we were also able to raise a record amount of over $130,000, including $67,000 in our Fund a Need auction for much-needed facility renovation and beautification projects to be led by our tireless facilities team. But as amazing as this is, we aren't done yet. To really accomplish our goals, we need to double that number. So again, please consider an additional gift this year. Don't let the momentum stop. please pick up a yellow card on your way out the door, and after Yom Kippur, please sign and return to the office or give to any member of the board or member of the men's club to offer a pledge.
In conclusion, finally, as Rabbi Mahdi so beautifully said, where is he? Oh, so beautifully said in his Erev Rosh Hashanah sermon, there are two words for hope in Hebrew with two meanings. So may Temple Beth Tikvah, our house of hope, our beautiful house of hope, also have Tohelet. We have hope for today, we are resilient, and we have hope for an even better future.
May the Jewish people, chizku v'imtzu, be strong and courageous. On behalf of our family, the board of directors, and the staff, we say Gemar Chatima Tova.
And we wish you a Shabbat Shalom.
Almost. Okay, that's it.
Realizing that it is Aleinu, on us, to make our dreams come true and build a better future, we turn to Aleinu on page 116. Please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר שלא עשני כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
On page 118, and so, eternal our God, we look to you, hoping soon to behold the splendor of your power revealed, a world free of idolatry and false gods, a world growing more perfect through divine governance, a world in which all human beings make known your name, while those who do evil turn toward you.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד ושמו אחד.
On Yom Kippur, we think about our life and we acknowledge the voices that we have in our heads who shaped us, who gave us resources, who helped us walk through many a narrow bridge of life. If you have anyone who you're remembering this season, anyone who you lost in the last year, or someone who you simply miss very much, as we gather together, please say their name out loud as I pass my hand throughout the room.
Mary Lou Miller. Lyle Dickey.
Have we got any names on Zoom? We also think of all those who died in Israel's war against terror, soldiers, and innocent civilians, including one of the hostages related to the member of TBT, Harsh Goldberg, Poland. Please rise to say Kaddish together in solidarity with the mourners on page 122. Let's say together, Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach Yerutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomeichon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala u'vizman kariv ve'imru Amen. Yechei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitrumam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela u'le'ela milkol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yechei shlam araba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael. V'al kol yoshvei tevel. V'imru Amen. We were wondering what song can conclude a Kol Nidre following a year like this, and realize that what we need is strength and joy. And so we'll conclude on page 325 with Ozi Vezimratya, which tells us just that God is our song's source of strength and also our joyful song.
Ozi וזמרתיה ויהי לישועה. עוזי וזמרתיה ויהי לישועה.
Gmar Chatima Tova. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to continuing this Yom Kippur journey with you tomorrow morning and in the afternoon.
Thank you all very, very much. I mean, for the beautiful singing when everything was going perfectly, and when I screwed up and you just went right ahead and did it. Thank you for all of that. Yeah, let's not count how many times. Math is hard. Well, see you in the morning. I get 10 minutes, right? I think that's right. I can't remember all of these things.
you.